Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome into Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports into something we don't talk about here. My name is Matt.
My name is Dyl, and today we are continuing our predictions. We've done Best Picture, Director, Bow Screenplay, after TIFF, after Venice, after Telluride, but before New York. So now, let's dive into the acting prizes. We have Best Actor, and at least for me, my number one hasn't had much switch. It's still Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. While I do think the race is a little bit more competitive now than it was before, I still have him at my number one. I have Murphy number one. I have DiCaprio at number two. You look at any piece of marketing for this movie, you look at most of the reviews for this movie, they are saying this is Leo's best performance in a long time, if not for his career. It's Leo. They love Leo. I know he missed for Don't Look Up. That's a completely different thing. People didn't like Don't Look Up. People will like Killers. I think there's a chance for him to possibly even upset for the win. I mean, you think Leo DiCaprio won Oscar for The Revenant? No, he should have won for this. He should have won for that. What if he gets number two for Kills of the Flower Moon?
He's giving me Robert De Niro.
You know who's giving me Robert De Niro? You know who's giving me Robert De Niro in The Irishman? Is Bradley Cooper in Maestro. Because the thing with The Irishman was, you watch the movie, what do you think of first? You think of Scorsese's direction, you think of the cinematography, the costumes, the supporting performances from Pesci and from Pacino. De Niro was kind of down there. You know what people come out of Maestro saying? Oh, it's Carey Mulligan. It's the cinematography. It's the sound. It's not Bradley Cooper's acting. I still have Cooper at number three because I think he has in here. He has the Netflix push. And if we've learned anything, Netflix knows how to get at least one, if not two. I know I have another Netflix person on my outside looking in, but that's just because their movie seems to be very much mid. Maestro doesn't appear to be mid at the moment. But if that person at number 6 does make it in, he's getting it over Bradley Cooper. Giamatti's number 4, Holdovers, safe for nomination, not win competitive. Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction. American Fiction needs nominations to make it into Best Picture. We talked about Adapted Screenplay. Now it's time for Best Actor. This is its 3, maybe score as you mentioned the other day, but that would be its package, and that means Coleman Domingo and Rustin is at my number 6. Someone that you and I both have said previously could win this category, but I really need to see people come out of Rustin saying, this movie is good. People don't do that. At least The Whale last year, Brendan Fraser had people saying, oh, we love the movie. No one's saying they love Rustin. They say they love Domingo. And I don't know if that's enough for him to overcome the all-old stat of, oh, your best actor needs to be in Best Picture. I know it was broken last year. Whale was 11 or 12. Rustin is 15 to 25. Plus, there's no other nominations for Rustin. And I could just see this going the way of, like, Till. I know I said last time we talked, like, oh, Netflix isn't MGM. Domingo isn't Deadweiler. But that was before we knew Jeffrey Wright was in the race. And I feel like he is now here. We have a strong 5. Domingo gets in. It's at the expense of his Netflix buddy Cooper. It's not the expense of Giamatti, Wright, DiCaprio, or Cillian Murphy.
I'm going to be honest, I don't understand the comparisons between Coleman Domingo and Danielle Deadweiler. Danielle Deadweiler was not a name. It was not known. It was in a movie that was very small. Rustin is produced by the Obamas. It is going to be a big movie on Netflix. It is going to be talked about. Yes, people don't like the movie that much, but every reaction that I've heard from pundits coming out of the movie was basically, you can start engraving his name on the Oscar already. Now, yeah, I've seen the movie, and I don't agree with that because I thought his performance was just an average biopic performance. But you know what else was? Renee Zellweger and Judy. I know that there is the age-old stat. Your Best Actor winner has to be from a Best Picture nominee. I can see that changing because that hasn't been the case in the Best Actress category. And typically the reason it hasn't been the case is because historically, a lot of the movies that have ended up being major Best Picture contenders have been male-dominated, male-centric. We're seeing a shift in the world of the Oscars where that's not really the case anymore, where the gender gap between Best Picture nominees is not really that much of a thing anymore. So I could see a world where we see less Best Actor winners having to be from Best Picture dominators. And that's why I do think Coleman Domingo can win. He reminds me of Judy.
The thing about Judy was it was a career narrative for Renee. She was a sweeper. Domingo will not be a sweeper even if he is a winner. And the only comparison I have of Domingo to Deadweiler, nothing else, is just they were both going to be their movie's only nomination, outside of maybe Song. Deadline is what people were saying as soon as they saw the movie, she's going to win, but what else does it get? And I feel like that's the same stuff people are saying about Domingo this year. he could win, but what else is going to get? Remove American Fiction, we have an easy 5. That's what we've been saying for months. Like, oh, this is so easy. Like, something's going to shake the race up, and we have it now with Jeffrey Wright. And like I said, it's going to be one of the Netflix boys that misses. It's Cooper, it's Domingo. The other one could still be win competitive, just the other one just misses the nomination.
It's too early to say anything is safe here, and that's why I think we're going to see a major shakeup. I think the only person in this top 5 that is a lock for a nomination is Cillian Murphy. I could see anyone of Leonardo DiCaprio, Bradley Cooper, Paul Giamatti miss. Those 3 seem like they should be safe, but at least one of them is not going to be here at the end, in my opinion. I'm leaning towards Leonardo DiCaprio. It seems like the typical performance that we see get snubbed. Again, Robert De Niro in The Irishman. Maybe I'm clinging on to that weird snub a little bit too much. Leo's going to be outshined by the supporting cast in his own movie. Robert De Niro.
He
Lily
did
Gladstone.
in Hollywood, and he still got in for Hollywood. Maestro, like we talked about before, got good reviews. They weren't great. That movie could trim down, and instead of being like a 6, 7, 8 nomination movie, it could just be Mulligan, a makeup nomination, and that could be it. I'm not predicting that right now, but I could see that path. Like I said, Domingo, Cooper, one of them is 3, one of them is 6. Next person to mention would be Giamatti. I feel good about Murphy. I feel good about DiCaprio. And then, if American Fiction's in picture, Wright has to be here. If you're someone out there who's saying that TIFF stat's broken, that Fiction's not in picture, you can't have Jeffrey Wright here. You have Domingo. That's an easy 5. But like we just said...
Or Andrew Scott. You could have Andrew Scott there as well.
I still think Domingo would be above Scott. But I guess I could see the case for Scott as well.
But if you're saying what I'm saying, which is that one of the DiCaprio, Cooper, Giamatti 3 will miss... then you could have room for both Domingo and Scott in there.
I guess so. I mean, that would have to mean American Fiction's out, plus Cooper, Giamatti out as well, which that seems a little far-fetched, but who knows? It could happen. And Matt Damon, Yoteo for Past Lives. There's not room for them, so they are on the outside looking in. And to conclude my list of 10, I've had Adam Driver here for Ferrari, but if we look at the Golden Globes, drama actor, there's an open 5th slot. That open 5th slot could be someone they know, they love, Joaquin Phoenix. They just give him the nomination for Napoleon. Not saying it would be a good nomination. They could just give it to him. So for the time being, he is my number 10 because I do have him getting the Golden Globe. And Critics' Choice could be dumb and nominate 7, 8 actors, and he could be one of them.
Barry Keoghan, yes, Saltburn might not be getting great reviews. It might be very polarizing. But Barry Keoghan is getting reviews that seem to be indicating this is a Nightcrawler-level performance. Why do you not have him in your top 10?
Did Jake Gyllenhaal get nominated?
No, but he was number 6.
Nightcrawler was also probably top 12 in picture. Saltburn's top 30. That's all. I won't have Saltburn top 10 anywhere outside of cinematography. That's the only category that will be in my top 10, if not 15.
Would you consider putting Glenn Powell in since he's a pretty strong contender for the Golden Globe Comedy Award?
Him and Phoenix were my 10 and 11. I have Phoenix there just because I feel like they value drama over comedy. But hey, Hitman Catches On. Glenn Powell's at number 7 for me.
And what do you think about Paul Dano and Dumb Money?
I think they have a better... I don't know. I was going to say they have a better shot to campaign him in supporting for category fraud. I haven't seen Dumb Money, so I can't comment on that at all. I don't know. I just feel like if you're going comedy, you already have Giamatti here. You have Wright. You have the potential to grab Glenn Powell. Are you going to reach for comedy? And Matt Damon. Are you going to reach for comedy guy number 5, number 6 of Paul Dano? Plus, I mean, they just had the golden opportunity to nominate him for Fabelmans last year. Like, nah, we're good. So Paul Dano, Dumb Money would be, I guess, it would be very fitting if that's his first Oscar nomination.
What an unlucky man. Anyways, let's move over to Best Actress, where at number 1, I have Emma Stone for Poor Things. It makes sense. I've been saying for a very long time that Sandra Hüller is going to run away with the award, but hey, the Michelle Yeoh to Sandra Hüller's Cate Blanchett has been presented, and it's Emma Stone in Poor Things. An energetic, out-there performance that I previously thought might be polarizing, might be seen as annoying to some people. It seems like there's no problems with that. It seems like this performance is everything that people want and more. It seems like a step up from even her La La Land Oscar win, which in my mind solidifies it. If everyone is unanimously agreeing that it's the best performance of her career, I think she can win a second Oscar for this one.
I feel so bad because that's what I said at the beginning of the year, and everyone was just like, no. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. It's Hüller, it's Fantasia, it's someone else. And now look, Emma Stone's back. I'm like, cool, back on the Emma Stone train as well.
It's something I feel like I've been saying all year long is that she's either out of the top 5 or she's winning. Her performance is either Margot Robbie, and it's annoying some people. Margot Robbie in Babylon, I mean by that. It's either like too much or it's just the right amount. Sandra Hüller will still probably win at least 2 of the 3 trifecta awards, but I don't think that she can beat Emma Stone anymore, especially because Poor Things is a major contender in like 6 other categories. Then Carey Mulligan, number 3 in Maestro. As you were saying before, yes, people come out of the movie of Maestro saying Bradley Cooper was good, but they say Carey Mulligan was great. Kaylee Spaney for Priscilla. Reason being here, you know the stat better than I do, but every time an English language performance has won the Volpe Cup at the Venice Film Festival, that person has gone on to be nominated for Best Actress. That is a pretty solid stat, and Priscilla seems mainstream enough to get Kaylee Spaney a nomination, especially coming off of Austin Butler last year. Now, do I think Priscilla is going to be a big movie anywhere else? No. But was Blonde? No. And Kaylee Spaney could absolutely be on a DR miss in Blonde. At my number 5 spot, I have Fantasia Barrino for The Color Purple. She has dropped a long way here. I'm fighting between her and Greta Lee and Margot Robbie at my number 5, but at the moment, I'm just gonna stick with Fantasia Barrino until we know a little bit more. Her role is really excellent, and it's a little bit less subtle than Greta Lee, and it's a little bit more serious than Margot Robbie, which is really the only reason she gets the edge there. I could see her drop out for one of those two very easily.
I'm with you with the top 5. I had the same 5, just in a different order. I still have Stone and Hüller as my 1-2. I do have Barrino still at number 3 for Color Purple. I know I'm stronger on this movie than a lot of people seem to be at the moment. Spaney's my number 4. I feel like maybe a better comparison would be Kristen Stewart and Spencer, where the movie could also potentially pick up other nominations like Spencer was supposed to with costumes, with production, and just misses both, and it's just the actress showcase. A24 also kind of knows how to campaign their movies, campaign their actors, just like Neon knew how to do with Spencer. And then at my number 5, I do have Mulligan for Maestro. As I've said numerous times, I feel like these videos, I don't want to sound like a Maestro hater. I still have it in for picture. I just can really see the avenue for this movie dropping down the ranks, more so than I can see Anatomy and Hüller dropping down, or more so than I can see Fantasia dropping down at this moment at least. But there's the off chance also that Maestro's a lot stronger, and once the general public sees like, oh yeah, we love this, and it rises up, and Mulligan could maybe even be an upset win potential. But I still very am confident with Emma Stone here, just like I was at the beginning of the year. But I think the bigger question is if Spaney isn't actually in that stat breaks for Priscilla, or maybe Fantasia drops out, or for some reason Hüller just can't connect with Anatomy to wider voting bodies. Who gets that 5th slot? Is it Lee? Is it Robbie, or is it someone completely wild and random out there, just like we had last year?
I don't know who else below number 7 would really do it. I mean, Natalie Portman is my next one, but I just don't see May December as making any categories whatsoever. I think it's completely dead. I think that it's just too polarizing and too campy, and it's going to make people uncomfortable. And then at number 9, I have Anjanou Ellis-Taylor for Origin. She is really good. The question is Origin going to be a contender? I don't think so. But if it is, Anjanou Ellis absolutely can make it in. It is a strong performance. And then at number 10, LOL, Annette Bening in Naiad. It's not happening. The only thing she has is a career narrative. It's not a very good performance. In fact, she's outshined in her own movie by Rhys Ifans, by Jodie Foster. Below that, some ones to give a shout out to. There's Kate Winslet in Lee, mid-movie, but Kate Winslet's good. She is coming for that Golden Globe nomination. Teyana Taylor for 1001. I know you're really riding with her as a potential, but I don't think it'll happen. Then there's Phoebe Dynevor for Fair Play. What an incredible performance, incredible movie, but I don't think it's going to be high profile enough to get that nomination. And finally, we have not heard about the reactions to Foe yet, so Saoirse Ronan is still in the cards.
I would add 2 more in here. They may seem kind of out there, but I think they're both probably more likely than Naiad to get into that potential Globes or Critics' Choice extended lineup slots. First one I have, Jodie Comer, Bike Riders. Movie overall, people are mixed on, but they all came out saying she's great. She also has sort of a narrative. She's been killing it in the theater scene. Everyone seems to love it when she does films. Maybe like a Critics' Choice, 7, 8 actresses, she somehow slips in over someone like a Robbie, a Barrino, a Spaney. Maybe. Probably not, but potentially. And the
Is
last
she
one I'll
lead,
mention...
though, or is she supporting? Because I'm not clear on that at this point.
From what I understand is she's going to be campaign lead, that she
Okay.
and Butler are the leads of the film.
Cool. Then, yeah, I'll slot her in below Saoirse Ronan at this point. I just don't have much faith in the bike riders, sort of with the tepid response to it.
All these people I would also put in your 10 to 15 sort of range.
Yeah.
And the last one, this one's a meme pick, but you talk about Kate Winslet getting Globes. Helen Mirren could get the Globe for Golda. And if this movie is potentially in the makeup race, there could be some sort of, hey, let's get her in here. Don't think she's getting the nomination, but I think she's top 15 at least.
The movie's doing really well at the specialty box office, but it's gotten bad reviews. So I don't think it's possible. But maybe for a Golden Globe nomination. You might not be wrong about that. I can't honestly put her in.
I wouldn't put her top 10, but I would put in that same range as Kate Winslet and Saoirse Ronan. Tiana Taylor would also be my 10 to 11. I would say anyone on your list above Anjanou Ellis, that 9 I realistically could see an angle, because for May December at least, it's hitting New York here in a week or two. If the reaction picks back up for it, it's still alive. If the reaction's dead, it's muted, movie's dead. I think that's its last stand. I would put Robbie above Greta Lee personally, but can't really fault either of those there at the moment. Now let's kick it over to you for your other category of the video, Best Supporting Actor.
Oh, let's go for it. Best Supporting Actor is a fun one. I still have Ryan Gosling winning for Barbie. He's just going to be easy to root for all year long, as will Robert Downey Jr. I think those two are the clear top 2. This is the real representation of where Barbenheimer will be battling it out, because previously, we thought that those might be the top 2 for picture. They're not. They're not the top 2 for picture. Barbie is not quite in that conversation. But Barbenheimer will go head-to-head in supporting actor. Ryan Gosling is just so lovable in this movie. He's so devious in this movie, and I think he embodies what people find so special about this film. Comedic performances do really well in the supporting categories, too. Especially Robert Downey Jr. is a great performance in Oppenheimer, but being a more dramatic, more dour performance, I feel like we might see them go for something a little bit more cheerful. I'm leaning Ryan Gosling right now, but both of them are going to be excellent campaigners if the strike resolves, and I think they're both going to be easy to root for. In the end, I do think Ryan Gosling is going to be the feel-good pick. Now, I have to do a double nomination, because every year since 2016, so starting in 2017 with 3 Billboards, then The Favorite, then The Irishman, continuing every single year, there has been a double nomination for one of the supporting actor categories. This year, there's a lot of questions of what that double nomination could be. For a while, I was saying The Color Purple. I don't think The Color Purple's that strong anymore, and I think you need strength in your movie to get that. And you know what movie does have strength? Poor Things. There's a few arguments you could make. I know, Dylan, you'd say that Oppenheimer could be a double nomination, but I don't think anyone gives a shit about Matt Damon in that movie. It's the Robert Downey Jr. and Cillian Murphy show. Poor Things has Mark Ruffalo, who's getting absolute raves, and Willem Dafoe is caked up in makeup, has been getting some great notices as well. Maybe less so than Mark Ruffalo. Dafoe is definitely being talked about. I'm seeing that quite a lot. Mark Ruffalo being the goofy himbo in the movie, and Willem Dafoe being the mad scientist. I also see a potential for a double nomination for All of Us Strangers. The ensemble of this movie has been getting brilliant notices. People have been saying that this is just incredible acting work all around. Right now, I have Jamie Bell in my number 5 slot for All of Us Strangers, but I could see Paul Mescal making it in too. And you know what? Screw it. I guess I will say Matt Damon's possible. I won't discount that fully. I'll put him low in my list. I don't think he will happen, but it is possible. I just think we will get a double nomination this year, whether it's for Oppenheimer, Poor Things, or Strangers. I'm going to lean towards Poor Things right now, though.
I mean, you're falling for the Dafoe bait that happens every year in a supporting performance, but hey, maybe this is the year he actually gets it.
It
was 2017,
movie.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, but 23, it will happen. Funny thing I just realized right now, All of Us Strangers, I kept thinking Jamie Bell was Jamie Dornan.
No, it's Billy Elliot.
For so long, Jamie Bell maybe more likely than Jamie Dornan would be
Jamie
for this
Dornan
nomination.
wouldn't happen. Jamie Bell is playing Andrew Scott's dad. He's been getting brilliant reviews where apparently he just melts your heart. As I understand, a large part of All of Us Strangers is about Andrew Scott's character having to come out to his parents who have been dead for 30 years. I could see some really big emotions coming from those moments. Now, here's something you guys are probably noticing. Where the fuck is Robert De Niro?
Crazy.
I think Killers of the Flower Moon is going to be on that downward trajectory. I don't think he needs to make it in. I don't see why every time De Niro's in a high-profile movie right now, we always say he's getting a nomination, and then he never does. The last time he got a nomination was for Silver Linings Playbook, and he really shouldn't have gotten a nomination there. I think he's just done. There's no reason to award Robert De Niro anymore. He has had his time in the spotlight. Will he give a good performance in this movie? Absolutely. Do I think he's going to be nominated? I do not.
At least for me, the buzz is there, but if the movie does fall off, yeah, I could see him missing. If he does miss, it is for, I would think, a double nomination in this category. My case for Matt Damon is the positive will from Air, the overall strength of Oppenheimer, and I would say it really just comes down to what movie is stronger on nomination morning. Is it Oppenheimer? Is it Poor Things? Everyone talks about, oh, Oppenheimer's going to have frontrunner fatigue once we hit nominations, but right now we're already seeing so many people flip to Poor Things, and we're going to see so many people flip to Killers of the Flower Moon, and then they're all going to come back to Oppenheimer once Nolan gets out there and people start talking. Strikes are over, just like Gosling, just like Downey, just like Ruffalo. Matt Damon knows how to campaign. He's a very likable person. I'm also not completely unsold on Color Purple getting those 2 in supporting actress. I still think that's a very likely chance, just maybe not as strong as something like Poor Things or Oppenheimer over here in the supporting actor category.
Maybe my thing with Matt Damon is maybe I'm hope-dicting that he won't get in because I thought his performance was just one of the weaker parts of Oppenheimer. Once we start seeing nominations from smaller awards bodies, if we start seeing Matt Damon in some of those, I will fold. Willem Dafoe, I think, could make it in without some of those nominations, but I think Matt Damon will need to get some of those nominations if he wants to be in here. Now, that said, I probably shouldn't have both All of Us Strangers guys above Dominic Sessa. That might be a little bit wild. Or even above Matt Damon. You know, I probably should have Matt Damon higher than I do right now.
I guess my last point about Matt Damon would be is I don't think Matt Damon getting this nomination, or if it's Dafoe, or if it's the 2 Color Purple ladies, it's any more of a stretch than like that nomination Scarlett Johansson got for Jojo Rabbit when she was already in the lead category for Marriage Story. I think that was just another example of, hey, we really like an actor in a movie that we really like, and I know that's not a double nomination for a movie, but a double nomination for an actor, and I feel like at least more so than anyone else, that benefits Damon because he's not getting in the lead. And I mean, I guess it could also affect Domingo if Rustin's out of actor and Color Purple's in picture. Maybe both performances can go help him rise in the ranks and be a Color Purple nomination, even though I know you and I both don't have him in our 10s at the moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait and see because that's not the role on stage that gets a lot of notices, so I don't know. At number 8, I have Dominic Sessa for The Holdovers. I've seen this movie. He's very good in it. He is supporting. I've seen some people be like, oh, is he lead? Now, I know what you're going to say, Dylan. You're going to say, but Gabriel LaBelle didn't get in. Gabriel LaBelle was a lead, and supporting is a very different category. They nominate young people in supporting all the time. It is not an unlikely occurrence. Lead is where it's really tricky to be a teenager and get nominated. That said, I just don't think The Holdovers is that strong to break into this. I think it can get a bunch of other nominations, but Dominic Sessa might just be right on the outside. I don't think he'll actually make it in the end.
If he actually gets in, that means our double nominations in supporting actress, not supporting actor. I don't think he gets in if there's 2 actors from the same movie in this category.
I completely agree with you. Or we just break the stat this year and there's no double nomination.
Too.
Then Charles Melton, May December. Again, May December, it's not happening, so I don't have him in. Really, I'd say my top 8 I see as possible. And actually, you know what? I would say it's really a top 9 because I'm going to put Matt Damon in here after this video.
Hoorah.
So Matt Damon is possible, and he would be above Charles Melton. But for now, he's not there. And then I've got John Magaro for Past Lives. Not happening. Again, it's too subtle. It's not really that big. But some other ones to mention. Jesse Plemons, Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't think this is happening, but there is a world where Killers of the Flower Moon is just like a steamroller the way that we expected it to be right off the bat. And if it is, then ba-ba-boom, bada-bing, there it is. And Killers of the Flower Moon could get a double nomination for Jesse Plemons as well, even though he doesn't do much. Also worth mentioning the 2 Color Purple men, Coleman Domingo and Corey Hawkins, as well as Rami Youssef for Poor Things, which I don't think he's happening. We're not going to see a triple nomination, and he's definitely below Dafoe. And my biggest hope diction of the year is Glenn Howerton in Blackberry. He's not happening. He is a distant last in this category. Wouldn't it be nice if we lived in a world where Glenn Howerton could yell his way to a supporting actor nomination? It's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Well, over in the supporting actress category, I do think that Emily Blunt can yell her way into a nomination because I do think the Oppenheimer overperformance carries over here. She's not my number 1. She's my number 5. I just want to get that one out of the way to begin with. Then at number 1 is Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Interjecting right here because as you probably saw, unless you've been living under a rock, Lily Gladstone is out of Best Supporting Actress. She is in to Best Leading Actress. So our number 1 spot is gone. So we need to have a new number 1. I know Matt, he's probably leaning more towards Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers. He saw the movie. He said it was great. He said that she was great. She's getting raves, which is very likely. I mean, that solo supporting actress win is not that uncommon. Just like the last few years, we've had numerous of them. Minari, West Side Story, the list goes on and on and on. So she could be a very good slot to, move up to number 1. Some other options, Color Purple, Danielle Brooks, Taraji P. Henson. They both stand a great shot. It's just like when you have 2 people in the same category, unless one is just getting all the raves, they usually don't come out on top. So Color Purple ladies, they're probably in that 5 now. It's just, are they number 1? Probably not. Our next people up are some shockers probably, like Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer. Can this be her first win? That would be crazy. But in a category this desolate, crazy stuff is bound to happen. Just like last year, Everything Ever All at Once, Jamie Lee Curtis, our winner in an empty category. Could we have the same thing this year with a movie they just love in Oppenheimer, an actress maybe the Academy doesn't love, but everyone loves of Emily Blunt? It's not that far-fetched. And so that is currently my number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So who is my 5th slot? Honestly, I don't really know. I'm looking at some notes down here. I'm on vacation, so look over there, you can see Hogwarts, Universal. So my 5 slot is between a few people. May December is a strong player. It doesn't even need to be a picture player, but think of The Lost Daughter, The Master, where it hits those acting nominations, it hits screenplay. Julianne Moore, she could slide in. If Amazon somehow rejuvenizes Air, Viola Davis, come on in. But with American Fiction rising up, I don't think MGM and Amazon will really give much time of day to Air. Clara Foy, All of Us Strangers. I know Matt is a big proponent of All of Us Strangers. Maybe. But the one I'm going to go with for this moment is kind of out there. People think that Barbie could be a major player in the race. And if it is, America Ferrera, she could pick up Globe. SAG isn't that far out of the question. So Oscar, yeah, they could over-nominate the movie. They could throw it in here. A few months ago, I would have said America Ferrera. Insane. There's no space for her. But right now, honestly, I would say the only person kind of confirmed in this category is Divine Joy Randolph. I think everyone else is a question mark. Emily Blunt is a question mark. Both Color Purple ladies are a question mark. That movie could crash and burn. So that's at least my updated thoughts on the supporting actress category after Lily Gladstone moves off the lead.
For me, it's Divine Joy Randolph. She steals the show. She brings the emotional core of the Holdovers. There are multiple scenes where she moved me to tears. I can absolutely see her being a winner here. You're missing out on Claire Foy a little bit. This role could be really big. Also, just putting out there the possibility of Erica Alexander in American Fiction. She plays Jeffrey Wright's girlfriend in the movie, and she has some really great scenes. And if we see another nomination come for American Fiction outside of actor and screenplay and picture, I think it would be supporting actress. So Erica Alexander is one to really keep an eye on here. She has a big role, it's a meaty role, and it's a funny role. I just want to ask you about Rosamund Pike. I know your answer.
I mean, you know my answer. You know my answer already. Answer.
But people were raving about Rosamund Pike.
And people were raving about Margot Robbie in Babylon last year. And Babylon was number 11 in Best Picture.
I don't know. I think you're underestimating Rosamund Pike.
I don't know. Maybe I am. I think you make a great point for Erica Alexander. She probably should be in my 10. American Fiction, if it's going to be a player, it could pick up another nomination here. She's definitely more likely than Penelope Cruz. I would say more likely than Claire Foy at this moment. It's just not a name that really popped into my head. Only reason Julianne Moore is at my number 6 right now, May December in every category is the first movie out on my personal list, because if it is a player, these would come. I don't have it as a picture player right now, so I have it on the outside of everything besides... No, I have it on the outside of screenplay as well, so yeah. I think Alexander's a great shout that I would include in my 10 next time.
that's one that I'm interested to see how it shapes up, because I feel like I'm the only one saying Erica Alexandra at this point, but maybe we'll see a few more people talking about her in the coming weeks. Anyways, that brings us to the end of today's acting predictions. Let us know what you think. What are some of your bold takes? Who do you think is winning all these categories right now? Are you still riding with Lily Gladstone? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. As always, my name is Matt.
My name is Dyl, and this is Fantasy Filmball.